Welcome, everybody. Tonight we're talking about raising confident, motivated children and teenagers. Wouldn't it be just amazing if your children got up in the morning and did everything that they were supposed to do, like little champion superstars? Or what would it be like if you're dealing with a child that has low self-esteem? What would it be like to watch them walk into their classroom with their head held high and their shoulders back like they own the room? Because I'm telling you what, children or anybody that has confidence like that enters the room knowing that they own it, well, they don't get bullied, they don't get picked on. In fact, that is the cornerstone to achieving any amount of success in any endeavor. It all lies within our self-confidence. Hi, Valerie, welcome. Thank you for being here. The child's self-image is I think the cornerstone foundation for every single parent, because the difference of a child having self-esteem or low self-esteem is me and you. Yep, I said it. It's me and you. Self-esteem is what's going to protect your child on the playground. Self-esteem, high confidence level, is going to help your child do well in school, get high grades. It's going to help them keep and maintain relationships as they become older. It's going to help them skyrocket in their careers. Like every single thing that you would want to have for your child stems from their self-confidence. Self-confidence is also the root to healthy mind, body, and spirit. But I can relate to what it's like to have a child with low self-esteem, because before I even became a mom, I had this big, awesome dream of what it was going to be like. And I knew that my kids were going to feel loved. They were going to know how special they were. And I was going to make it happen because I was going to give my kids a great life. But when I met Tom, my youngest daughter was about 9 years old, maybe 9, 10. And I couldn't figure out why every single night I would tuck her into bed, she would be sad about something. She was upset that her teacher didn't really like her, or her friends were picking on her, or she had a stomach ache, a foot ache, a neck ache, a headache. I mean, I could go on forever at the stuff that she would create in her mind every single day. And, you know, we pray about it. I'd ask her, do you think mommy thinks you're special? Yeah. Do you think God thinks you're special? Yeah. Well, if mommy and God think you're special, don't you think you're special? Yeah. Okay. Good night. And then the next night it would repeat itself. And it's really heart-wrenching to watch your amazing, beautiful child feel really low about themselves. And so when I started working with Tom and we started to change our home environment, we started basically raising the bar, doing everything that we're going to share with you here tonight. I saw all four of my children, like I saw light behind their eyes. I saw a new zest for life, enthusiasm, and definitely confidence skyrocket. It allowed my oldest child to graduate from high school. My oldest daughter, when she was in grade 8, didn't believe she could get more than C's. You know, she was very unmotivated and thinking poorly about herself. And through the transition, she was able to believe a little bit higher. And she graduated high school on the honor roll, all A's, and super proud of her accomplishments. She's an amazing person. So what I've learned, and what I said at the very beginning, is that their confidence and how they turn out was all up to me. And this is just me talking to you right now. Do you really believe that anybody else on the planet loves your child as much as you do? Or do you really think that people out there are going to sacrifice themselves to help your child? No, you know the answer is no. The only one that loves your child enough to make a difference is you, because some of the things that we talk about tonight, they're going to challenge some old beliefs when it comes to being a parent. And so these are the 5 beliefs that I broke it down to today for this presentation. Number 1, we believe that words help. You're just awesome, little Susie. you're pretty. Why don't you think you're pretty? I think you're pretty. Like, we think that telling them how great they are is going to make them feel great. And Tom's going to talk about why that's a wrong belief here just in a minute. We believe that when our toddlers or small children or even our teenagers have something wrong with them, we believe that we should like sympathize with them. We kiss their boo-boos. They fall down, they get a scrape on their knee, and ooh, we lavish them with attention and hugs and loves and kisses. And so we're going to get into that a little bit and what to do instead. We're taught through parenting experts, articles, videos, and everything else that we should praise our children. And I remember reading that in an article and going, okay, I'm consciously going to praise today. I'm going to praise today. And then at the end of the day, I was like, really didn't have anything to praise. My cat it just jumped in front of the computer. It's hilarious. All right. Also, I would find that when I would praise them, and let me know if you've experienced this too, I go out of my way to praise them or tell them what a good job they're doing, and they just look at me like, go away, or that's stupid, or that makes me feel weird. Like, if you've ever experienced trying to praise your child and just getting back a little bit of attitude, let me know in the comments. Another belief that we have, that we've been taught, that we've been wired to believe as parents, is that we need to set solid rules and expectations in order to help your child build their self-confidence. And the last one is that we own them, so to speak. They're our kids, we own them. It's up to us to control them. And I've heard this statement a lot, like, can't you just control your child? Right? And so we have this belief that they're our kids and it's up to us to control them. So we're going to go back up to the first belief, that words help, that you can like explain to your child how awesome they are, and that's going to help them build their self-confidence.
Yes. Just tell them. Right over their head. It might sound good. It might actually think that it's actually sending the right message. But until you've actually physically done something, how can you really relate? I can tell you all about this movie, but until you actually go see it, would it be something that you can now experience, and then you can have something to come together. So just telling them is something that will never, ever work. You can give it a go, do the best you can, but it always is short change. And so here was one story of when Zach, this was right around 7, 8, and there was a water slide. And boy, was he excited. And the water slide was all set up. The hose was hooked up. The last thing that needed to happen was to activate the water so it could flow, and then ready, set, go. And it was now, okay, what do we got to do? Water. Okay, well, where would that be? I don't know. And it was to follow the hose to the spigot. You could tell him, but then it was when he followed the hose, then he got to see it. And then that's got to be turned. And so he's over there just doing whatever his mind thinks turn is. Not ours, but their mind. And without having any kind of chance to do anything on his own at this stage of his game, he's around 6 or 7, he went right into cry mode, which is our default. That's what needs to be upgraded with missing life skills. And so quickly, as every good mom would listen to their baby cry, you would come to their rescue.
Yes.
Now, let me go on record and say, without this wonderful connection, none of us would be here. So it does serve a purpose. But just like milk in the fridge, it has an expiration date. So it serves its purpose, but then you got to wean back. So it'd be like, so it doesn't work because Bonnie wanted to run over real quick.
Yeah.
Grabbed her hand and just held her and be like, Bonnie, let's wait.
This is something that you're gonna absolutely relate to. So again, I could tell Zach how amazing he was or how smart he was. And at this point in time, he had been diagnosed with ADHD and ODD. And when we started working with him, or when Tom started working with him, he said, you can't expect the same from me as everybody else because my brain is broken. So we're here talking about how to raise confident kids. And that's where my kids were at. He felt like his brain was broken and there was no amount of words that could convince him otherwise. And so here he is trying to turn on the hose. And in my mind, I thought I wanted to protect him from failure. I didn't want him to fail because I thought that if I could help him succeed, then he could feel good about himself. But really, like, have you ever been in the middle of doing something and somebody comes over and takes over and you're kind of like, like, I could have done that myself. And that's where he was at.
And so when something wasn't able to figure it out right away, he would whine, so that way somebody would come do it for him. Yeah. So, well, Zach, what are you doing? I'm turning it. It's not working, right? Okay. So which way are you turning it? I don't know, right? And it's either going to be righty-tighty or lefty-loosey, right? Right hand, left hand. We could bridge on what he already knew. And literally within probably less than about 15 or 20 seconds, total silence on our end. It's not working. Well, what would be the opposite? And then the next thing of silence, you hear this, look what I did, as he could hear it go through the hose and it started to do the sprinkle through the thing. There isn't anything that you could possibly say that would even match a fraction of that rush, of that good feeling of, look what I did. And that right there was literally the birth of like, wow, I can, almost for the very first time. And wow, once they get a taste of it once, how do you go back to like not knowing that you don't know? It's really amazing. Once you learn how to walk, you can't like unlearn it. When you start to see that there is a way that I could do this, then the momentum can start in the positive direction.
We go from the belief to words help. We think we can explain things with words to our child. They might be 2, 3, 5, even 13 or 15, but they still cannot see what you can see unless they experience it. So the point here is allow your child many, many opportunities to fail, because the blessings that come from failure far outweigh the I would want to say the curse of overcompensating parents, right? Us wanting to help them, rushing in to do it for them, thinking it's easier, faster, maybe you could do a better job, but then in the meantime, we're crushing their self-esteem. And I want you to also think about this. If we go all the way back to when your child was 18 months old to 2, every time they reached out to something that they were curious about and we say, nope, we don't do that, what do you think happens inside their spirit and inside their mind if they're trying to do this and they're constantly told, nope, we don't do that. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, you're going to burn yourself. If they're constantly hearing that message, is it building their self-confidence or taking away? And I'm looking for comments. More opportunity, do it myself. Even if they're like 3 and you can teach them to pour from a little measuring cup into their own cereal bowl, or you can teach them to begin to spread peanut butter on a piece of bread. And yeah, they're going to make a mess the first time, but how do you learn anything without failing first and then persevering through to success? It's the only way to feel good about ourselves is when we come up against obstacles and we persevere through and we go, look what I did. And for these little guys, doing up a seatbelt is look at me, you know, I don't know, anything to them is look at me. So we kind of got to, as parents, go back to what it was like to be a child and start believing in not only their potential, but believing that if you allow them to fail, they'll push through to success and they'll know they did it all by themselves. All right. They might think something is wrong with them. Exactly. Right. That's what they're going to think. If you were at work and every day your boss just kind of yelled at you and told you what not to do and controlled all your actions and came in and took over all your jobs, you wouldn't feel good about yourself. All right. All right. The second point, and this might even rub you a little bit wrong. And I want to pre-frame with, we are very loving people. This is all about what's in the best interest of the child, not about us. If you're with me, give me a like or something. Okay. Because we're going to talk about kissing the boo-boo. Okay. When I was, oh gosh, I want to say about 8 or 9 years old, I remember standing at the end of my driveway, waiting for the school bus to come along, thinking to myself, I wish I could just fall out of a tree and break my leg or something. Like, I wish that I could hurt myself, because the last time that I hurt myself, I was like loved so much. I got so much attention. People catered to me and everything else. And so the thought in the back of my mind was I needed to be victimized in order to be loved. How much does that resonate with you as, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense? So when our 2-year-old scrapes their knee and we lavish them with attention and kiss, 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 what neural pathway are we helping that child develop? Because I know that when Jenny was 10 years old and crying herself to sleep every night, that I had done that because of, you know, all the sympathy that I gave her every night when she would complain, and I would feed on it and I would give it so much attention. It's almost like if you could picture a garden with roses and weeds, I was watering the weeds, you know, helping her become a victim in life, because that's how she felt most loved.
I remember the first time of being able to learn how to ride a bike. And when I fell off the bike, and it was either a skinned elbow, a big egg on my head, or the knee got scraped. And somehow it began to tie in the association that when I did get hurt, a cookie showed up.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so this is how you get cookies. I'll just go get on my bike. I'll go ahead, and then I'd be able to pretend to fall and be like, okay, fake cry, cookies coming. Ah, cha-ching. It's always going to be the thing right before the reward that they tie in of do that and then do it again. So do you actually kiss the boo-boo? Well, what you begin to do is if you hear them cry, you hear them do what they're doing. Yes, you do give them attention to see what it is. Now, 9 times out of 10, it's something that's scared in their mind, because there's no program that they've been trained or monkey see, monkey do of what do I do now? So really it's asking, help me. What is the next step? You're the one that knows all the answers. All I know is to push the red button, you show up, kind of a deal.
Right.
And so asking a question, okay, what did you do last time when this happened? Or what would you like to do? Or what do you think you should be doing? Or how did you get here? It's getting them to think of what was actually a precursor to now.
Right.
And if it's something that's happened to them before, where you can see that there's a cycle, well, what did you do last time? Well, last time I just breathed, and then I got up, and then everything was okay. All right. So how long does it take this time? You begin to build on what was that part for them to be self-sustained. So when they do have these accidents and they do have these, it isn't an automatic 911 quick call mom, because she fixes everything. And then the next thing you know, they're 20 and they're still doing the same cycle.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yes, it does. We can protect them from boo-boos, or we can teach them to protect themselves. So the next time they're at the playground, or the next time they're riding their bike, or the next time they're coming down the stairs, or whatever it is, they can know how to be safe again next time. So let me sum it up a little bit, because if you have more than one child, then you've experienced this. Mom, Jacob hit me, right? And that used to send me into like, oh my gosh, I got to go be the referee. Got to find out why Jacob hit his little brother. He's 6 years older. He shouldn't be hitting him. And so there I was in the middle, yelling at my oldest for hitting my youngest. But, meanwhile, Zach was standing behind me going, hee. So when Tom came into the picture, Zach would come to the door and say, Mom, Jacob hit me. And then Tom would go, oh, congratulations. What did you do for that to happen? And this is why I pre-framed. It might sound kind of cold, but we must know our role as a parent is not to protect them. I mean, we are going to protect them, but how we protect them is the big deal. When we know our role as a parent is to prepare them for the world. It's to prepare them for life. So imagine spending, 5 years, the first 5 years of your child's life, kissing every boo-boo, lavishing them with attention anytime someone picks on them and standing up for them and you're mama bear and everything. Can your child have the opportunity to develop their own solution-oriented mindset if you are always the solution for them? This is the point. Oh, your 3-year-old falls down on the sidewalk as you're walking to the park. Yes, we feel bad and we want to take away the pain. Sometimes when you get a pain, you can like tap on it and it goes away, like a mosquito bite or something like that. You can rub it and it goes away. And so our point is that when we focus on the solution, how did you fall? They were running. That's why they fell. They were running. They should have been walking. What do we do next time? Walk. Absolutely. There is an opportunity to praise, Kaya, because they answered the right answer. It's normal. But when we're following our kids around trying to praise them, they know it. It's fake.
When Zach knew how to cry to get the attention, he mastered that part. So being able to say somebody hit me, his older brother, would make sense. So when you can see the repeat, there's a loop. Then be asking these questions. It brings awareness to what was the precursor to it. So it was like, so I see that he hit you. Not saying he did it, didn't say he didn't.
Right.
Not saying yes, not taking sides, just validating that, okay, so let's say there was a hit. Where did the hit happen? And I'm going to draw blanks because they're like, well, I haven't had to really defend it. I just cried and it showed up. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, were you in your room or were you in your brother's room? And you can start to see how the process of when they were starting to see this, they were like, well, it was in his room. Okay. And was his door shut or open? It was shut. Okay. And so let me understand this correct. You went into your brother's room when the door was shut and you got hit. Did I get that right? Yeah, right, because he's still believing that the cookie's coming, right? He's believing in it and be like, huh. So let's see. If you were in your room, do you get hit? No. Okay. So you can start to begin to give him the options to see where there's more than one choice rather than just being stuck in one rut and having zero power other than manipulating a situation to get what you're looking for, because mom will come running. And one of the best stories that we talked with him was reading the story about crying what? Who knows this story? Type it in. It is Wolf. It is Wolf. But they may not hear it. Maybe they'll actually type it in.
When I was in school, I never paid attention, so I would never know the answer. That's where the teacher would go, what was the answer? I'd be like, but now I'm older and I love to learn. I'm like, Wolf? Sorry, guys. Okay. Suze, you said, what should you do if one child is constantly hitting the youngest child? I would like to ask this question for our audience. Do any of you have a younger sibling? And I want to say, I have a younger sibling. Do any of you have a younger sibling that when you were a child drove you nuts to the point where you were like pushing them out of your room, or you might even smack them? And I'm going to be looking for comments here in just a minute. Oh, you're all so smart. They all said Wolf at the same time. That's awesome. Okay. So yes, I got one. Yes. I have a younger sibling. They drove me nuts. Yes. Okay. So, I would say that the one child is constantly driving your older child nuts. And what Tom's talking about now, this is completely counterintuitive. I'm not saying let your older child hit the younger child, but I want you to really think about this and maybe let me know so I can talk to you a little bit about it. Has the older child, even though they might hit the little one and it sounds terrible, but have they actually caused like pain, like bruising, bleeding, that kind of thing? Because in my case, Zachary might have punched him in the arm, or Jacob might have punched Zach in the arm or something, but there was never like, he didn't really hurt him that badly. But the point that we're making here is we can protect our children from the bully, or we can teach our children how to handle the bully so they can protect themselves. If you want to get hit, you're going to go get in your brother's face. You're going to bug him. You're going to tease him. You're going to go in his room. What's going to happen? He's going to hit me. I mean, if he chooses to bug, poke, go in the room, he's looking for that attention. He likes it somewhere along the ways. And it brings us back to kissing the boo-boo. At some point in time, the child had his boo-boo kissed, right? And there's no judgment here because I kissed a lot of boo-boos, right? But at some point in time, the little one had lots of attention and had the boo-boo kiss and knows that that's how he can actually get attention. So let me digress just a little bit and say that creating champions for life is completely different than anything that we've ever done before. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but rather than reacting to these situations, because when we react in anger, are we raising their self-esteem or lowering their self-esteem? All right. So what I'm encouraging you all to do is to be not just any mom, a creating champions for life mom, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to think. We're going to begin to think. So Suze, what kind of scenarios causes the two siblings to fight? What can we do to create an environment that would allow growth opportunities? Like, what are 3 things? And this is, we got to begin to think, and we got to begin to teach our children to think proactively versus reactively, just like what we're talking about here. So you role play with your little one, how to handle the older sibling, and you role play with the older one, how to handle the little sibling, so that he knows other solutions other than just hitting. How much does that make sense? Both of them need life skills. The little one needs to learn to leave the older one alone, and the older one needs to learn a better solution than hitting. Are you with me? Makes a lot of sense. Okay, yay. What did Kai say? I have a younger child who hits my older child all the time. The older never retaliates. Yeah, and that's just as difficult as well. So we would begin to work with the older child on how to protect themselves from the younger one, and then we would begin to work with the little one on different solutions. And we're gonna finish up with the next few points. It's gonna fill in a lot of holes in this presentation, okay? But the biggest thing is to think, to know that our words, our lectures do not help at all. We want to give them more opportunity to show off their greatness. Look what I can do. We're going to stop just reacting and kissing the boo-boos, and we're going to start thinking, okay, you got a boo-boo. Do this, and it'll go away. Oh, that feels so good. Look at how amazing you are. Now, next time we fell because we were running or walking. Running. So next time, if you'd like to actually like stay on 2 feet, not hurt yourself, what do you think you should do? Walk, right? We're teaching, and it sounds so simple, and it is, but to develop the habits of being proactive like this, to develop the habit of not reacting right away because you want to protect your baby from being hurt, but to think as a parent, as a leader, how can I protect them for the next time that this is going to happen? And you begin to teach life skills. Now we're on to praise, okay? I already mentioned, look at you, put your dishes away. That's awesome. Go away, mom. Like I already mentioned this, right? Our kids like know when we're going out of our way to false praise them. So instead, we're going to learn to recognize what they're doing and then offer the equal reward. And I want to pre-frame, because I think a lot of the world parenting will use reward charts and stuff. The reward charts are not really reward charts. They are bribe charts, right? You do this, we'll take you to Disneyland. If you do this, you can have a cookie. That's a bribe, okay? And so what we're talking about is being proactive, creating an environment that allows your children to choose hitting or maintaining self-control. That they got to have a why. Otherwise, you're just going to like fall into bed at the end of the night in exhaustion trying to fix your kids. All right. So recognition and reward. How do we replace the false praise with recognition and reward?
Now, this would be putting the cart before the horse and vice versa. So when you think about, there's a universal law of cause and effect. Anything that shows up, there was something that triggered it. If anything that triggers, there's going to be an effect.
Yeah.
And for those that are non-believers, we'll take a rock and drop it in water, and then that should be seen as believing, and then you'll be with us. If not, well, maybe better luck next time. Okay. So when you begin to recognize what it was that the child was doing that would be the cause. Yeah. Key here. Might have to listen to a few times. Our stinking thinking might be blocking it, but if you catch this, the reward or what it was is their goal that they were going for, all they know is that you are the be all, do all, have all for them. So if all they did was cry, it showed up. We're upgrading that. When you recognize what they did, what was it that you would have done before you made it show up that you caught them doing? You know, you're going to be able to go to your friend's house this weekend because I recognized that your room was clean and you made your bed every single morning this whole week. That is why you're going to have the privilege to stay at your friend's house. So now the child is beginning to hear, oh, I'm able to go. It's not a battle. What did I do that made the thing that I wanted to show up? It's the one trigger before that you recognize, because whatever you recognize and reward is always repeated.
Right.
What you recognize and reward will always be repeated. They will begin to see, oh, okay, it's not really about a yes or no. I did these things, and that's why I'm going where I want to go. So if I can get hurt and get a cookie, I could do my bed again for another week, and then I can go again where I want to go. What it does is it gives them the power to do what we already know, and they're just shooting in the dark, hoping to hit the mark. And that is what our job is, to bring light and awareness to show them how we do it, so they have monkey see, monkey do. Because if we can do it, one person can, another person can. That's the whole reason why the children have us in their lives, not the other way around.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because I had a victim child. I told you about Jenny at the very beginning. And she, all the way through her teen life, kind of like wigged in and wigged out. She's champion Jenny for a week or two. And then she'd come home and she would try to get me. And what I mean by that is she would try to get me to feel sorry for her. And I refused to water the weeds, because watering the weeds, listening to her poor me, woes me stories, was recognizing her woes me, her victim self, right? And so what Tom's saying is whatever you recognize and reward will be repeated. And so a reward could be a hug. And that's why we talked about the boo-boo, right? You fall down, you get a boo-boo, you get the kisses. So it's almost like you're recognizing that they fell down, and then you're rewarding that with kisses, and then that behavior is going to be repeated. And I don't know about you, but do you know any victims in this adult world that you kind of hang out with them, and within 10 or 15 minutes, they're like sucking all the energy out of you because all they do is complain? Well, they don't even know that they're doing it. It just become a habit for them. And you, mom or dad, are the ones that can help your children change the habit right now. Because when your child falls and you go, oh, here's a solution, just rub like that. Oh, rub like that. Oh, like that is so amazing. Okay, awesome. What are we going to do next time? Like, what's the solution? because we can spend 10 minutes on all the problem, but it doesn't get you anywhere. So what we're doing in creating champions for life is we're creating solution goal-oriented moms and dads who produce solution-oriented, goal-oriented children who are going to produce goal-oriented, solution-oriented grandchildren. All right. You might need to listen to this presentation a couple times because I need to listen to it again. Okay. All right. So anything that you recognize and reward will be repeated. That's it. So begin to give them opportunities to choose. What does hitting your younger or older brother, what kind of reward does that earn? I'd say it earns like mommy carrying around the remote control for the television for the day. I don't know why you would choose to spend your television time hitting your brother, but I love you either way. And you see, when we can love them either way, are we hurting their self-esteem or helping them build their confidence?
We're definitely building a vacuum. As we pull back, nature hoards a vacuum. It gives room for the child to expand.
Yeah.
Very key. As you withdraw, gives them a chance to expand.
Yeah.
Very true.
So now we've learned, well, you need to have set rules and clear expectations for your child. And not that I don't agree, but that sounds very parent oriented. It sounds very dictational. If you're going to live in my house, these are the rules, follow them or else. It's not working together as a team. And 100% of the parents that we talk to, when we ask, wouldn't it be awesome if you and your children work together as a team? And guess what they say 100% of the time? How can we go from this like rules and boundaries and chore charts and everything else to creating a win-win environment where the parents win and the children also win?
Let me ask you this. Do bees sting people? Yeah, bees do sting people. Yes, I would agree with that. But do bees sting people? And the answer is no. How many people think I'm off my rocker?
I do, but he's cool.
Right? When you think about this, bees can sting people, but they don't sting people. There's not this evil queen bee in the hive that's saying, okay, my little bees, get out there and get those big two-leggers. Go, 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 right? When a child begins to see that the sting happened because of my innocence, I don't even know that I don't even know that I was an intruder in their space. I might have actually been throwing rocks in the yard, swinging a stick, hitting a bush, and lo and behold, here they come. They're there to defend themselves. But the bees won't sting you unless they are threatened. Very key. So if we have rules and expectations, how about you just do whatever you want and I'll just yell at you when you do something wrong? Sound like fun?
Yep, you broke a rule.
Just make yourself at home, and they do, and then you resent them. Ever have guests and you feel like they outdone their welcome? All right, it goes along the same. It's the counterintuitive. So when you actually have something, like many times we have the parents have their the grandparents have their grandkids come over and visit, and the next thing they know, they're into everything and breaking everything. Yeah. So I would ask them, I'd be like, okay, so when was orientation? Who do I sign up for to get the do's and don'ts in the house tour?
Right.
And everyone's like, well, that just takes too much time. That's a lot of work. Yeah. Well, they should know better.
Right. Guess
what? They don't. And so once again, you're just waiting for something to watch that you don't like. How do you feel? Positive, negative, negative. You're telling them something of what is curious to them that's wrong. They're being inquisitive. They're being curious. They're being exploratory. The spirit is here to expand, and they're doing their job, and they're being reprimanded. Yeah. So negative plus negative always equals negative. So we're creating this. That's the coolest part. If you can stay with me on this and then be proactive and show, okay, these things, if you would like to be yelled at, who likes to be yelled at? Okay, if you do, all you have to do is this, this, and this. And you'll be guaranteed to be yelled at. How many of us love to have fun and maybe hugs or enjoy their stay or would like to be invited again? Ooh, 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 me. Okay. Well, then you do this, this, and this. And by doing this, this, or this, you will have that happen. Cause and effect is a universal law. Yes. If you like to get stung by bees, you know exactly what to do. Intrude their space. Make them feel threatened, and you'll be guaranteed to be stung. Makes a lot of sense. When a child can look and you can prove it, seeing is believing in nature. You got the truth on your side. You always have, and you always will. And when you can see it that way, children are looking for, okay, which way does the light work? The switch up or down? They're looking for that cause to create the effect versus just doing something random and being negative. Give them that proactive part. So when they did do that cause, AKA flip the switch, it is automatically going to happen as the effect.
Cool.
And that's what's very, very key. So that's the training, setting the expectations, and then believing that they can learn and let them learn. Do you remember when we let them start to walk, ride a bike, maybe drive a car? How many of us got it right the very first time? And if you say yes, you're lying. If you're being truthful, you're like, yeah, there's a learning curve. Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, how much patience do you really have to take the time to teach them the way somebody taught you? So cool. Very key.
Love this stuff. So what we're doing in a sense is we're ridding fear-based parenting. We're getting rid of fear-based parenting. Do as I say or else, you know, yelling, threatening, bribing, dictating, you know, getting angry at, taking things away, grounding them, putting them in a timeout. We literally, like, if all of those are negative experiences, they make you feel bad, they make your child feel bad, and it's not working. I mean, we have clients who have been going to therapy and counseling for a decade without seeing results. They switch over to Creating Champions for Life, and within 3 months, their child totally transforms because we're transforming the environment. How many of you saw in our group today, I put like a little picture, when a flower is not doing so well, we don't fix the flower, we change the environment for the flower so they can grow. That's what we're talking about here. Now, Tom said something, and it might have just went, because he said it so quickly, but he said, when was orientation? When was training day? Do you have a training day in your household for your kids? Because every week your children are going to learn something, and every week they're going to need to grow and learn something else, and they're going to need to learn and grow something else, right? So what are we teaching them this week so that we can add on that next week? And so, yes, you're going to have your expectations, but it's not just going to be about you. It's going to be a win-win for you and your child. What are some things that your children love? And I know we always go to video games and television and things, but what pulled my 15-year-old through homeschooling, getting to his exams, studying and actually doing his exams and passing in his exams, what got him through high school, you guys, dun, 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 I wish I had a drum set. It wasn't video games or an Xbox or a trip to Disneyland. It was garlic bread with spaghetti at dinner, like garlic bread, you know? Gosh, I want to explain this more because I feel like, so what I'm saying is, okay, so you have dinner set up, you got spaghetti and meatballs, you got like a salad, you've got water, chocolate milk, orange juice, and you've got garlic bread. Now, do we owe our children a 3-course meal every day? Are you their maid, their cook, their chauffeur, their referee? Is that your role as a parent? You might think it is. You're like, yes, I'm so tired. I'm like, no, your job is to duplicate your efforts through your children, is to teach them life skills. This presentation is all about raising confident, motivated kids. They will never be motivated with a bribe or a threat, right? Because fear is the root to low self-esteem. And when we parent in fear with a fear-based parenting mentality, we're literally growing low self-esteem roots for our children. How much do you like that? Right? It's the truth. You know it. I know that you know it because you can feel it in your spirit. It is the truth. It's just most people know that, but they just don't know what else to do. So we are the what else to do. We are Thomas and Bonnie Leona for those of you that don't know us. And, you know, we actually help parents all over the world make this transition based on what we're saying. We create an environment. I would love for you to have garlic bread with your dinner, but do I owe you garlic bread?
There he is.
All right.
We have a cameo.
This is Oscar. He's so loving. All right. I didn't owe my 15-year-old garlic bread. As far as I was concerned, it was a privilege. And that was for children who did their homework that day. They did what they were supposed to do. You did everything you were supposed to do. You show up, you get garlic bread. Well, he chose to not do his homework that day. So he showed up and he got spaghetti and salad and water and no extra fluff. And gosh, he was 15 years old, had a little 2-year-old toddler temper tantrum. And then the next day he did his work and he got garlic bread. Yeah. Like, honestly, but that actually gave him the fuel to persevere through, you know, some school stuff that he was having trouble with. They need to be motivated, but yelling at them is not motivating them. But holding garlic bread as an outstanding dinner for those that get all their work done, that's a win-win environment. Your children are working towards their goals, what's important to them, and they're following your expectations. But now we're going to have expectations that earn bare minimum, expectations that earn maybe average, expectations that earn outstanding. So television, 30 minutes bare minimum, 60 average, 90 outstanding. Are you seeing what I'm saying here? It's so simple to do, but not easy. All right. So we are here to support you and help you through the transition. But I wanted to just make that point that fear is at the base root of all low self-esteem and all mental health issues when it comes to our children today. Okay. Got anything to say on that?
Here's a +1. When we would train the kids, when they would learn in the martial art class, they would be learning a technique and there would be a board that would represent a terror barrier type of a concept. Yeah. And so this is like an obstacle. So like when you went with Jacob, he had maybe some issue with schooling. There was somebody that doesn't know how or doesn't want to. He usually knows how because we narrowed it down, but there was no reason to put out any effort. Like, why would you buy the cow if the milk is free, right? We've heard this wisdom from like 80 generations back. It was the idea that, oh, whatever the obstacle is, if the reward is bigger, everybody knows it's called an investment. If I invest 5 and I get 10 back, you'll be doing it all day long. But if there's no return, then why would you invest? Right. And that's very, very key. So the concept. So when they would have the board, they look at the board and they see what? They see, they see victory or they see an obstacle like, oh, and then all the fear just starts recycling and bubbling up. My foot's going to hurt. I'm not going to be able to do it. Someone's going to laugh at me. I mean, the list goes on and on. Can you relate? And I would have to say yes. If it's a no, you might want to check your pulse, right? Because it's always there. Yeah. It will never go away. The idea is now is when they were thinking, okay, do you see the board? Great. Can you see what's behind it? And there'd be like a little hesitation. Well, the board's blocking the view. Can you see behind it? So here's the board, and I'd put my hand up. You see my hand? Yep. Watch my hand, right? You see it? You see it? Do you still see my hand? Nope. Well, it's still there. It's right there. Do you see it? And then their vision, they can see over past it. That hit my hand. Yeah. Strike at my hand. So the cross view with like, there's the board, there's the hand, right? It came up, it came down. Bonnie's the kicker. If you kick at something, it will hurt. If you like your foot to hurt, kick at it. Key word here, at. Guaranteed to hurt. But if you kick my hand, your foot automatically goes through the board and it doesn't even know it's there.
Yeah.
Kick at my hand, you go automatically go through the board with no conscious thought. These subtleties are so, oh, wow, they're like razor's edge. But when you've got the mindset, right, you think it, you feel it, the body has no other choice but to react and demonstrate what your thoughts and feelings are. It's going 3 for 3, thoughts, feelings, actions. And it's the missing action, it's the stinking thinking, and then the negative feeling that produces the hurt. When you can do the hurt, you can do the opposite. That's the awesomest thing about the game of opposites. Very powerful.
Yes.
And when you learn these and you can apply them at home, it's universal. It doesn't matter where you're at. It works like gravity. And that's one of the neatest things, because we have seen 100% success with every parent that chooses to engage. And that is a key thing. You have to show up. Can't just buy a gym membership and not go. You got to put in the effort. Same. That's the way it works.
That's awesome. Okay. Awesomeness. This is such powerful stuff, you guys. It's profound. It's revolutionary. It's going to wake up our children. It's going to bring more peace, harmony, happiness, togetherness, true, authentic love and joy in your home. And when that's in your home, it's going to radiate through you, your spouse, your partner, your children. Everything will change. We're going to go from dark to light. It's almost like, you know, mold grows in dark, cool, moist areas. But if you open it up and you let the sunlight in, the mold just going to go away because it cannot survive in that environment. Victims cannot survive in a proactive, champion, outstanding environment. And it's up to you to create them, because the only thing that you can control is the environment. You can't control your child. That's an illusion. It's like a lie that is setting us all up for failure as parents, because nobody's child just listens to their parents because they said so. We believe that they should. Why doesn't my child just listen to me? I'm the mom, they're the child. And it's because, you know, nobody does. You don't listen to anybody either, trust me. Last belief that I have on my list is that we own them, or it's our job to control them. And when we like completely release, I just feel lighter just saying it. When we completely release the illusion of control of our children, and we make a definite decision to love them unconditionally. It doesn't matter if they're wearing their yellow and pink polka dot rubber boots with their blue little blouse and their beret. I mean, oh, you did such a great job getting yourself dressed this morning, right? We love them unconditionally. I mean, I've had parents phone me up or do a strategy session with me, and they're like, well, how can I help my daughter not be gay? Okay, first of all, why wouldn't you just accept your daughter for who she is? You see, when we do this, when we change the environment, we allow our children to show us who they really are, rather than trying to put them into a box of who we believe they should be. All right. So unconditional love, Tom.
Yes.
What's that look like?
The unconditional love is there are no conditions. I'd like you to take a moment and believe that you see the way things are one direction, right? There's always an opposite, always has, always will be. And when you begin to see it, think of this way, right? Who decided to have kids? Them or you, right? Who's older, you or them? Okay, so you can start to see that there's a leadership role. There's a follow the leader concept. Now, we believe that they own them. Now, let's see a little bit of stemming from this. Yes, we are like financially or maybe even economically or even like socially responsible for their actions until the age of 18. right? So we can see where it starts to get a little bit of, I'm responsible for you, because when you mess stuff up, I got to pay for it, right? So I can see where it comes from. When you begin to see the shift, because there's a natural cycle in nature that when you follow it, you'll be rewarded. When you're off the mark, which is what got us here, that's guaranteed too. So think of it this way. Your child picked you. You didn't have a child as owner. It's not like something you own. But they picked you to do one of three things, maybe all three. One is be the leader for them to follow. That's what we're saying again. Be the leader for them to follow. Have you ever been told, don't do as I do, but do as I say? Okay. That's going to be the one, is they're going to monkey see, monkey do. They don't listen to you, but they sure see what you do. That's what's key, right? 2, have the belief that's the opposite of fear. Well, I got to just, if I don't just keep on top of him, he'll just get into stuff. I have to watch him all the time. But what if you were to switch it and go, I actually believe that this little offspring can learn. And if you want to look at an extreme case, well, let's go back 100 years with deaf, blind, and mute. Helen Keller. Very key. Somebody believed that she can learn, and back in her day, she became one of the most profound public speakers of her time. Cool. Believe that they can learn. Number 3, become their trusted advisor. Yeah. You are their go-to. Your offspring, your little ones, are going to come to you to say, I got this idea. And we don't say yes or no. That's always the rookie mistake. But there's something in the middle, right? As a trusted advisor, I believe that you're like a walking Google. And you can show me first and I can copy, right? As a trusted advisor. And the natural cycle, for those that like to see the believe or believe in the seen, right? However you like to work at it, look at every single animal that's out there. Every single animal that bears offspring. They do for their offspring, so they can do with the end result that they can do it all by themselves. That's key. That's the power.